can fly.
So I want to do a voiceover for this video and really talk about what goes through my head as I'm planning out a session. I pretty much always plan out the session as I get there, as I talk to people, ask them what they want to do, and kind of make it depending on the numbers that I have. So always start off with the warm up, 5 to 10 minutes you saw, just kind of moving back and forth. And then I always like to start off with some form of instep passing pattern or drill. So this is a wide passing pattern, just opening up and then playing to the next person and just following your pass. As we're getting a little bit more warm now, start to add a little bit more movement, a little bit of give and goes, and just change up the pattern a little bit. And then finally, as we're really starting to get warm now, about 15 to 20 minutes into the session, now we're really starting to do lace passing, which is right here, which is the third variation. So now we're starting to get warmer, working on hitting a little bit firmer of a ball, a little bit more of more of getting into the session, like really kind of starting to lace it. So I love doing these passing drills as kind of like I said, an extension of the warm up to continue to work into it, get the touch right, get all technical, and then progress into possession. I love then going into tight space possession because now we're warm and we can move around, but we still want to get in a ton of touches and make it sharp. So this is just huge for me. I also think that I'm kind of like following the pattern that I've learned through my professional trainings and also collegiately and semi-pro everything. It kind of always follows that pattern, a warm up to a passing drill to possession, and then you kind of go into the larger space tactical stuff or the full-sided games or small-sided games or something like that. So I'm almost kind of just copying what I'm experiencing at the pro level and what I'm seeing other pro teams do. So probably honestly about 30 minutes of this, 20 to 30 minutes of just rondos and just trying to get 20 passes there. One thing I did in this session was just in between every single drill, we played 2-touch and we played to like 5 points, elimination until there's one winner. So we did this between every single drill pretty much from here on forward. I love 2-touch because it's just so good, I think, to work on your control and first touch. After that game of 2-touch, we played one game. Then we went into this short, long juggling. Ideally, you play with this with 4 people, but we have 5 people, so the group of 3 is just rotating over there. But instead of like a time limit, I'm always like, okay, until we get 5 or until we get 7 or until we get whatever, then we can move on. So that's what I do. Instead of a time limit, I'm just kind of like when I'm seeing the quality or getting to a point that I like technically or quality wise, then I'm like, okay, let's move on. So then once again, game of 2-touch, eliminating down to one person, one winner, and then we move on to the next drill. But this was just a little thing that I did in this session. I just wanted, for whatever reason, I just woke up and I wanted to play a lot of 2-touch today. And then finally, just like in the normal pro trainings that I experienced with all of the teams that I've been on, the final thing is some form of game. So like with this, we're doing 2v2 +1 and just playing small-sided goals. And this is like when you're fully warmed up, fully ready to go. I love doing this. And especially when you're in small groups in off season, I think I always want to take advantage of the numbers and try to play games. Then we ended with a couple games of Horseshoes. So you guys have probably seen this on my channel for a long time now, but I love this because now you're warmed up as well. So now we're hitting a longer range pass, really working on that long ball and being very accurate and consistent with it, and then as well as being very hyper focused and working on the first touch, because you can always ping long balls, but as you guys have probably seen, when you're just hitting long balls with a friend, you start to get relaxed and lackadaisical, and you're not really focusing on trying to hit a target or taking your first touch down exactly where you want it to be. So this is just a fun game to really focus in on that and be like, training deliberately in a way, even though it kind of just feels more like a fun game. So we're playing some Horseshoes now, really working on the long ball and the first touch. And then after this game of Horseshoes, then again, we did another game of 2-touch. And this full session was like 2.5 hours. So it was a very long session, but just not too rigorous because we're doing so many games of 2-touch and Horseshoes and kind of like not crazy dynamic, just playing the entire time, but getting in tons and tons of touches. So played another game of 2-touch. Then we came back and played another game of Horseshoes. And again, as you're seeing, we have 5 people. So like the last game I was going twice, and now Colburn over there in the blue shirt is going twice. But again, getting some more games of horseshoes in, working on the long ball, working on the first touch. And then finally, after all of this, we wrapped up with one final game of 2 touch. So good touch there by Wade. But anyway, that was like the full session. And so in this game, as we finished up, I got to give a little shout out to Wade, because this is the game that I did not win. This is Wade. He came in and won. So good stuff, Wade. But again, I found so much benefit from doing games of 2-touch like this. I mean, I've been playing 2-touch now and rondos and those tight space, just technical games, and really just working on the first touch for the last 5 years consistently. And I've just seen such amazing improvement with just the comfort and the confidence of controlling the ball, even in a game when that ball is pinged out to you. So yeah, I love it. But that was like, now it's 1v1. We're playing the game of 2-touch. And then this is the final thing. I think we're both on 4 and we're playing to 5. So there we go. Completely messed up. But anyway, that was a session, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Okay, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I came back and had my very typical egg breakfast, smoothies, just kind of waited around, answered a few emails, kind of like did some work for Become Elite for the last hour, let the food digest. Still not fully digested, but I'm going to get in a workout. It's going to be a lighter workout. I had a really good, another just kind of like core workout yesterday. So today is just going to be upper body. Just a few simple exercises, not too long, probably in total like 30 minutes. But yeah, so we'll get into it. Okay, so I showered, I came back down, took a little nap, and
didn't text me back all day.
Okay, chill. So Mimi just got back. She was doing an interior design gig down in downtown Portland. But anyway, I thought this would be a really good time to transition into the continuous Q&A. And today's Q&A is from Ben Bollinger, and he asks, how do you, Mimi, your parents feel about every offseason having to pick up your life, move out of the city you were playing in, and move back home? I'm sure it is tough on you never being able to settle down for a long period of time, as well as Mimi having to find new work that will only be temporary. Do you plan on always going back home for your off season for your whole career, even into your 30s? So, I mean, that's a really good question. To be honest, I think that's the biggest sacrifice, for me at least, about being a professional soccer player, especially at the level that I'm at. You know, being kind of like the journeyman of the professional world, you really only do get 9 or 10 month contracts. I mean, it's rare to even get a 12-month contract, and very few players on the team will get 2-year deals. If I was playing in a top league of Europe, of course it'd be way different. You're on a 5-year deal and you're making crazy amounts of money. But where I'm at, you're kind of making very average household income, and you get 9-month deals. So then 3 months out of the year, you don't really have anything. I'm in a very fortunate situation with YouTube and everything that I do, where I could technically go and get an Airbnb for 3 months and move into that, and or try to find some short-term leasing options. But my parents, or Mimi's parents, have always been so gracious to be like, no, we want you to come back, live with us, spend time, because they don't get to see us for like 9 months out of the year. So we're in a very good setup. We're very lucky. Mimi and I are both very fortunate. But yeah, I mean, it's very tough to pack up your entire life every year and then try to figure out where you're going. And even like this last year, I returned to Tulsa, but I still had to move out of my apartment, put stuff in storage, travel across the US, go to Offseason for 3 months, and then come back. So it's tough mentally, and I think that, you know, I'd be lying to say, oh no, I love it. But on the other hand, like, I know I only have a very short amount of time to take advantage of this, to really live in new cities, to have these new experiences. So I'm trying to take advantage of it, and I think it's very exciting. But yeah, it's hard. It's very mentally draining, especially as you push into your 30s, because you're kind of like, well, this is like when most people get their life really settled and start to get a house and a family. So I don't really know like what the short-term future is going to look like with that, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. I just really kind of take it season by season and year by year. And, you know, again, like this year, my mom and dad were like, yeah, come back home. We want you to stay here, at least for now, until I piss them off for a little bit. But we'll see Mimi's take on it, and I'll ask my mom as well. What's your take on that question?
I think that it's a really, really bittersweet thing about your job, because like on one hand, I hate living out of a suitcase and moving around. You can't make long-term friends or relationships. I can't get a long-term job. We can't, you know, invest in real estate or our future life at all. But on the other hand, I do look at my friends, and I do look at people that have like really steady lives and really steady jobs, and I kind of look at it like, do I want that? Because like that can get boring too, you know, like they might look at us and think like, oh, they're so lucky they get to travel around all the time, you know. So maybe something in the middle would be nice, because we're like on the extreme end of it. But yeah, that's my answer.
So what do I think about that?
Like, just what are your thoughts on that?
I think that I'm glad I'm not doing it. I think that two things. I think it makes it really exciting, because you never know what's coming around the corner, and it's adventurous and fun. And this is the time in your life that you can do that, because you don't have any commitment to family or, you know, kids or a house to take care of, and you can just do whatever you want. And when you get older, you're going to look back at this time and be so thankful that you had this opportunity, because most people just follow the rules of, you know, school and a job and get married and just do all that, and then they have their midlife crisis where they feel like, I didn't get to do adventures, and I get to do these fun things. So I think that's something that you will not regret. But it is difficult to not also be settled, because you're up in the air. You don't get to feel like a grown-up in a sense. You almost still feel like you're in college, because you're always going back to your parents or living so frugally that you don't feel like a grown-up. But if it were me, I think it'd be worth it. And
you're super happy to have me here for Offseason.
You're kind of messy. There are cameras everywhere, and I do not miss the soccer turf pellets all over my house. Is that what they're called? Little pellet things?
Yeah, turf feeds, turf pellets.
That's just, I walk around barefoot, and I'm always wiping my feet, and I do not miss that.
It's only 5:50.
Yeah, we were hungry.
All right, so it's 5:50 in the evening, having dinner. My mom made a great turkey skillet with spinach, bell peppers, mushrooms, onions, right? There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. So ground turkey, then we just have white rice underneath, and then some mashed up avocado on top. So love this meal. And then I'm having a big old glass of chocolate milk. For another reason why I love coming back home or anywhere. Home cooked meals are always nice. So that's one of the benefits. So we're gonna watch Schitt's Creek. Yeah? All right, let's do it. We're gonna watch some Schitt's Creek, probably a few hours of that, and then I'll be in bed by 9.
Miss Rose.
It's Cheryl Mullins.
I didn't recognize you there for...
Okay, about 8:45, which means it's past my bedtime, so I'm gonna go up. So I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Good night.